Kia ora, welcome. My name's David Small and I'm Course Coordinator for Development Studies, which is a 200 level full year course, DEVP 201 is its code. And Development Studies looks at broadly the issue of the inequalities in wealth and power that exist in today's world. It looks at the causes of those problems and solutions to them. The first part of the course involves looking at development theory, and we look at over the last few decades what different explanations have been around for why it is that there is this growing gap between rich and poor, and what sorts of solutions there might be to those problems, what sort of programs have grown out of that. And that part of the course is assessed in the form of an essay. That's worth about 30% that's worth. The second part of the course involves looking at the way that some groups try to address this issue. And so that involves you working with other students in a little group to go and examine the workings of some group that exists to address the issue of development. And they do them in different sorts of ways. So you could look at groups like Trade Aid, or Christian World Service, or the Refugee and Migrant Service, or World Vision, or some sort of group focusing on development. And that assessment that part of the course is assessed in the form of a classroom presentation. So you present with your group to the rest of the class about what it is that the group your study does and why they operate in the way that they do, why they try to address the problem in the way that they do. The third part of the course involves basically the whole second semester, and that involves working in groups and trying to identify a particular intervention that you could do as part of your group with other students, and planning out that intervention, implementing it and evaluating it. And in the past, like in 2007, for example, some of the things that the groups were involved in, one group organised a project on the issue of surveillance, private and public surveillance, in the whole context of the war on terror. In fact, they organised a public meeting in Christchurch. They got 80 people to this public meeting. They brought speakers from Auckland, Wellington and Christchurch, and had this big thing on the theme of who's watching you, which coincidentally happened about 5 days before the terrorist there. So anti-terrorism raids happened in October. So that was, and they also mounted a website, who'swatchingyou.org, if you want to have a look at it. So that was their project. Other groups have focused on things like what's around on campus in the cafes, what is it that we eat. A few years ago, for example, one of the groups from this course identified the issue of coffee and fair and unfair coffee, fair trade coffee. All the cafes on campus said that it was impossible to stock fair trade coffee because one reason or another they all had their excuses. This group worked with Trade Aid and Cafe 101 to get fair trade coffee stocked in Cafe 101, and now that's flowed through and you can get fair trade coffee in every cafe on campus. Last year, another group was focusing on the issue of infant formula, and Nestle, which is a big multinational that is still undermining breastfeeding in third world countries in order to promote infant formula, which is causing hundreds of thousands of babies to die needlessly. There's an international campaign against Nestle. This group organised education on campus, a petition, and successfully persuaded the Students' Association to stop stocking Nestle products in their cafe. So they're the sorts of projects that people in this class have done in the past. It's a stimulating, interesting class, and I hope you'll be interested to take it. If you want to know any more, you can email me or phone me. I'm available on the web. As I said, my name's David Small, and hope to see you next year. Thank you.